Welcome to the Maude Labs podcast, the Maude Debrief.
This is your smart girl's guide to anything branding, marketing, business, and life.
Welcome to the Maude Debrief. I'm Erika Aquino, co-founder of Maude Labs. And with us today is Miss Jaclyn Johnson. Jaclyn Johnson is the founder of Create and Cultivate, the largest media and events company for ambitious women, connecting over 750,000 women worldwide. She bootstrapped it from a side project in 2012, sold it for $22 million, and then bought it back. She's also the co-founder of Cherub, a platform connecting founders with angel investors and an advisor to over 30 women-led startups. She's also a Forbes under 30 member and one of Adweek's disruptors. Hey, Jaclyn, how are you?
I'm so good. Excited to be here.
Oh my gosh! When did I last see you? When did I last see you?
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
it's been a minute, but
Yeah.
I mean, where are you in the world?
I know,
That's the
true.
question.
That's true. Okay, so I know you pretty well. I've known you since what, 2023?
I was gonna say, how
Yeah.
long has it been now?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Since you pitched to me, I went on intro and found you. But so for our audience is mostly in the Philippines.
Okay.
So I'd like you to introduce yourself, take us back to the beginning. What was the gap you saw for women in business that made you build, create, and cultivate? And what was the first version actually like?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, many, many moons ago, I had a different company called No Subject. It was a marketing events and influencer agency. That was really my bread and butter. I was like very good at servicing clients, like understood their wants and needs, had amazing clients from like L'Oreal Paris to Urban Decay to Uber, Microsoft. And was building that company as a 23-year-old, didn't know a lot about a lot, making a lot of mistakes along the way. And I really wanted to get together other female entrepreneurs to be like, hey, is everyone else struggling? What's going on with this? How do you feel? So I decided to package it up in this like really fun event to kind of get women offline. This was kind of the initial concept, and get your hands dirty and like have fun and like build things together and have conversations while doing that. And that was really the first iteration of Create and Cultivate. It was about 30 women in a room at the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs. And we were like potting succulents, making
my God,
food. We
okay.
were doing like crafts. But the idea was, let's get offline. Let's not talk about work. Let's do something like, different than what we're doing every single day, and also have these business conversations. Thinking it would like be one and done, right?
Right.
And then it kind of took on a life of its own. Like more and more people were like, when's the next one? Can we do something bigger? Can we do this? Can we do that? And then one thing led to another.
It's crazy. That was in 2012?
Yeah.
Okay, so, with things happening since then, COVID, all the things, you fast forward to 2026 and we're back to offline events, women connecting. How is the Jaclyn then different from the Jaclyn now?
Wow. I mean, night and day, I would say. But you're right. Like, it's been a roller coaster, especially in the events world. Like,
Yeah.
I would say there's, for me now, it's at scale, right? So it's like you're coming into something that's already massive and has this major movement behind it. So one, there's a lot of pressure, but two, there's also a time to innovate. I think when I bought back the business, I had this moment where I was like, I can't just do the same thing I did. Too much has changed. Women have changed. The world has changed. And I really need to approach it as like a day one mentality.
Right.
And that's really what we did.
Okay, so Jaclyn in 2012, Jaclyn in 2026. Well, when did you buy Create in 2024?
2024. Yeah.
Right. How is the Jaclyn then different from the Jaclyn now?
I think like honestly, in 2012, like the stakes were high for me, right? Like I was building this from literally nothing. And so I was blood, sweat, and tears, whatever it took, like running a million miles, like into the ground. And I would say the new version of me, I'm like a little more calm, but also I was ready to do it with someone. I think that's like a big difference, is like I was a solopreneur for so long, and this time around I was like, I'm not doing it that way.
Right,
and so
right.
I brought on Marina, obviously, as
Yeah.
a partner. And so I think it was the best decision, because I think I knew I couldn't do it all alone.
Right.
And that was a lesson I kind of learned the hard way in 2012 through, 2021, building it on my own. But also was a great, masterclass in building a business.
Yeah, I mean, there's that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Exactly.
Okay. So, you've built a really strong community. You have such a strong following on social media, and it's really one of the hardest things to build intentionally. I mean, either it happens or it doesn't. So, what did you do in the early days of Create and Cultivate, and what do you do now to kind of put everything together to build your community and to feel like
Yeah.
women actually belonged?
I think the reason Create and Cultivate resonated so much in the early days was because I was a woman building my business, advertising, and my customers are women building their businesses, right? So I think it was like, I see you and I understand where you're at and I'm building this for you. And so that immediately from a community perspective was authentic. Obviously they saw it happening. Like I would get emails that were like, you know, hey, I saw you running around picking up trash at the event, like all the time. Because like for the first 7 years, like I was never on stage.
Right.
I was behind the scenes, like building, like yelling at AV, what I was just like making sure everything was going smoothly. Like I had no intention of being the face of the company.
Right.
I would say I had every intention of making the experience good for the women that were there. And so I think they really saw that and respected it and understood it. Now, cut to 2017, or I should say 2018 rather, was when Work Party came out. So Work Party was my book and podcast. And that was the first time I was like, here's my story. Here's what I've learned. Because I didn't feel like I should be on the stage yet, right? Like I hadn't done anything yet. I was building the thing. I was platforming women who've done the thing and learning from them. And so 2018 was when I took a step basically onto the stage to be like, hey, like this is what I've experienced. This is what I've learned, you know? And I think the community was very receptive to that because they were like, we've seen you hustle and work hard to get to now this place. And 2018, 2019 was like peak Create and Cultivate, like massive. So I think that was when, it was a good time to kind of be on the stage. So I think for community sake, authenticity, and I know that's a buzzword and everyone says it, but it is real. Like it has to come from a place of like, I don't think they ever thought I was doing this to get followers. Like they knew I was doing this to support and help them. So cut to 2026, I would say this is the same through line, right? Is like we are building for our community and listening to our girls and trying to provide as much value as possible. Now, I would say the space is far more crowded.
It is.
So there is challenge and opportunity, I think, for us to really kind of be the standout winner in the space. And I think we do a few different things different than everyone else. I think a lot of people have popped up with very smaller niche communities that focus on certain things. So like CPG founders, fundraising founders, whatever it is. Create and Cultivate is the ecosystem where all of those women connect. So you are a Fortune 500 CEO, you're a CMO, you're a startup, you're an engineer, you're a designer, you run an ad agency, whatever.
Right.
Ambitious women is what we call our audience. And it is really like, do you have ambitions to quit your job and go start something? Do you have ambitions to launch your business? Do you have ambitions to just start creating content? It doesn't matter. Like we have something for you. And I think that's very special.
I love that. And, you said something. There was a point when when you decided to go on stage. What was going through your mind as someone who is kind of starting out as well? I'm really hesitant to go on stage. Of course, we're two different beings, but I'm like, what was the shift? What caused the shift?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's actually kind of funny. So essentially, like a year earlier, Goop had launched their summit, and Gwyneth obviously was the face. And not to say I'm anywhere near Gwyneth, but and then after that, Sophia Moroso launched Girl Boss Rally. And so a lot of our competitors were launching with very well-known women at the helm. And so my business partner and then my VP of marketing at the time was like, we got to get you on stage. And I was nervous. Like, I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like, I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm trying to be anything that I'm not. But the book was actually such a good platform for that because it was like, really the first time I was telling my story about both like selling my first business, building Create and Cultivate, and Create and Cultivate hadn't sold yet. So it was like really this like arch and narrative of going into like this idea of Work Party. And I think it was like it was a really strong way for me to enter that world. Now, that being said, I still was very specific about the platform being about other women. Like, I was not like, I really wasn't in the feed. I really wasn't whatever. It was like Work Party was my thing. And like, that was the podcast. And again, the podcast was about interviewing other women. But here's what I'll say. I think when your moment to get on the stage is when you've done the thing you said you were going to do and you have the experience and the expertise to do it. For you, I mean, just like knowing you did the thing. Like you have become truly one of the most well-known angel investors now, most prolific angel investors now. And people want to know how to get in front of you. So like the moment for you to get on the stage is now. You know what I mean?
True.
So I
That's
think it's
true.
like for anyone out there who's like, when do I become the public facing person? I think you're either building the business and talking about that behind the scenes, but you don't really get on the stage until you have something to teach.
Exactly. And well, for me, I think it's my own hang up where, oh God, I want my privacy. Leave me alone.
No, for sure.
And I think, and you're right, the people learn more from you and the world benefits more if you speak up. And
Yeah.
really, I have to thank you for speaking up. I mean, your content is amazing.
Yay! Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. How do you get those ideas for content? Because you're churning it out like
Oh my
crazy.
God. Thanks, girl. So
Yeah.
I had this epiphany at the beginning of the year where I was like, I really need to start treating my Instagram like a business. I treat it more like a personal feed, which, is fine.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people do that. And I really just switched it on. And what I found was, because like similar to you, I was kind of dreading making content. I didn't love doing it. I hated doing like I'm doing a dance and like a
Yeah.
voiceover. Like it's just
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
And I just like wasn't into that. And every time I did it, I felt like a little like
Yeah.
icky. But what I actually love talking about is business. Like I love talking about business. And it kind of like my boyfriend actually was one that was like, a lot of these things that most people don't know. And you think people know this, but I think actually you sharing these like tidbits can be really helpful. And so I just like committed
Yeah.
to doing one post a day.
Okay,
And like
okay.
and that was for 30 days and now it's been like 6 months.
Yeah,
So
you've been killing it.
Thank
Seriously.
you, thank
It's really
you.
good. I've watched you grow, and I've seen you post little things about Winnie and the behind the scenes and all that. Winnie's her dog, by the way.
Yeah. The CEO of my life, basically.
Yeah, your travels, etc., and now it's all
Business.
business
Yeah.
education, business education. And I'm sure a lot of women are learning from you.
It's been
with that.
really rewarding, I would say. And like I think, I was at Tech Week this week running around and like 4 people came out to me and were like, I love your content. So it makes you feel good because obviously doing it feels cringy and like tough because you're like in a bubble doing it.
Right,
but
right.
I've really been enjoying it and I really love specifically, and I know you do too, like the angel investing
do.
community and women talking about money is so important.
Absolutely. I've seen this in your content, and you have been an advocate for creators becoming investors. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so I think we're at a massive inflection point in the creator economy. I think like phase 1 was creators getting paid for posts, right? Like straight advertising paid for
Yeah.
posts. Phase 2 was creators starting their own brands.
Right.
And we've seen a lot of those succeed. We've seen a lot of them fail. And I think the reality of that situation has been it's really hard to run a business.
It is.
It's really hard to be a creator. It's really hard to do both. And I think a lot of creators got kind of caught up in this idea of like creating these companies and then realized how much work it is. And then it becomes like more challenging. And that's not the life that they want or the life that they built. So now we're on phase 3, which is equity, which is going from audience to ownership. There's been a sizable shift. Why? Because creators are making so much money.
Yeah,
That
they are.
is the fastest industry minting millionaires, primarily women, I
Yeah,
will say, which
yeah.
is great. And they are young and they don't know what to do with all this cash,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So really educating creators on the power of ownership, the power of equity, the power of diversification early in their
Right.
careers. And so at Cherub, we've been getting, we started to have a lot of people come to us like, yeah, I need angel investors, but I really just want creators. I need
Right.
angel investors, but I really just want celebrities. And so instead of like kind of building this like one-off white glove program, we've now are launching in the next few months essentially the Shop My for Angel Investing,
nice.
where
Okay.
creators
Okay.
and founders can match on the platform. And so creators can take sweat equity, they can invest in your company, and it's really going to be like really game change and democratize that access.
Well, as an investor in Cherub, that sounds exciting.
It's very exciting,
yeah,
yeah.
that sounds awesome. So, where do you get all these business ideas? Seriously.
So it is like a weird entrepreneurial thing, and I think this is what's so great. And I think like one of the things I've really like harnessed is that I'm early to things, and I've started to realize that in my career because it was the same thing with Create and Cultivate. Everyone was like, "Cute, what a cute little event," and I'm like, "This is like a real business. I'm
Yeah,
building it. Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
has momentum. Like there is so much here. Like this is like the future. Like events are going to be so different moving forward." And everyone just kind of was like, "Okay." Similarly with Cherub, like I was like creators democratizing angel investing. I believe investing is becoming more inherently more social.
Okay.
So in the venture capital world, typically everything is gatekept. You don't talk about your raise until it's closed. The headline of your raise is the VC that invested. and that's it. And that's historically how it's been.
Yeah.
We have seen subtly over the last 2 years that change. And what I mean by that is the most important people on their cap tables are not the venture capitalists, they're the creators and they're the influencers and celebrities, right? And so we've seen this like move. What's kind of happening now is with advertising and paid posts and all these things being so expensive, instead of raising hundreds of millions of dollars, these founders are like, I'm going to bring in the distribution through a creator that I immediately get audience and trust
Right.
versus doing that. So the VCs are scrambling now to build audience and trust.
Yep.
And so we're at this like interesting inflection point. And what I realized is like Cherub was very early to discovering this. And so I think we're a little ahead of the game. And like for me, I'm like, I think I tend to see things 2 to 3 years too early. And I think
That's
there's
a
like
gift.
it's
Yeah.
a gift and
Yeah.
it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because it's a blessing in that you're first to market, it will be successful, it's going to blow up. The curse is getting people to get on board early. And I think it's something I've had to get used to is people being like, I don't think so. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you not see this? But that is like the beauty in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, you like to talk about business. You like to talk about angel investing, creating community, etc. But you've also been quite open with your personal struggles. How do you balance your privacy, of course, and the need to share this?
Yeah, I think the reason why I want to be open about sharing it is because I think I've had a lot of women, you know, early days message me and like, you have the dream life. Like, I want your life when I grow up. Wow. Like
Yeah.
the big house, the husband at the time, the whatever. And I was dying inside. Like
I can
I
imagine,
was
yeah.
crying. I was hysterically crying. I was dealing with a husband who had addiction. I was dealing with mental health issues myself. I mean, it was so hard to build the business. But every photo in my feed was like,
Yep.
oh, me and the celebrity,
Yeah.
killing it. And it was like, that was just not the reality. And like, you know, I think sharing that has been really powerful because I think you can feel so alone in
Yeah.
it if you don't realize
Yeah.
that. And similarly with my breast cancer diagnosis, it was the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have an audience of all women. I'm very health conscious. And this happened to me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had no idea that you could be diagnosed with breast cancer with no lump. I just assumed you have to have a lump.
Yeah.
And that's like, and I'm a pretty, I think, informed person. So I was like, if I think this, I'm sure other people think this. And maybe you're pushing off your mammogram because you're like, I don't have a lump, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But you got to go. And so it's like, it really is about like education, but also just like letting people into the fact that like life is not perfect. And I find myself sometimes looking at women's feeds and being like, damn, like they've got it all figured out. And no one does.
No one does. And I get the same thing. Oh, you're living my dream life. I'm like,
No
No.
one is. No one is.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
It's true.
Are you kidding me? Okay, so you've gone through different eras of your life, and you preach that it's never too late to start over. But what about the woman that's 45, has responsibilities, is a mom, is a wife? What would you say to that? And someone who thinks like the window has closed.
I would say we have never been in a better era to start something. Why? AI.
Yeah.
AI has made it easier than ever to spin up websites, to spin up companies, to start creating content. Like you have an all-in-one team in seconds.
Right.
And I think for, you know, women it's very challenging. Running a business is challenging. It's time consuming. Like especially moms, I can't even imagine. However, there is no better time and more efficient time for you to try something new.
Yeah.
I give a good example of like my sister. My sister's a wedding photographer forever, very well known, did a great job. Like, I mean, she's like was flown all over. She's older now, has a daughter. She's
Yeah.
like, you know, getting on these, you know, weddings are intense. Like they're
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to go. She's like, I really want to do my next thing. And like, we actually had the founder of Fora, which is a travel agency on Work Party podcast. And she was like, you know, our number one travel agent, stay-at-home moms. And I was like, so interesting. I told my sister about it. I was like, you know, you're so good at booking our trips and like you're kind of a psycho about it.
Yeah.
You would be so good at becoming a travel. She's a full-blown travel agent
Oh my
now.
God.
Has completely built her business.
Right,
Has
right.
celebrity clients. Is
Right.
killing it.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, what a shift.
Yeah,
You know, that you're able to
absolutely.
build this life that works for you now.
Absolutely. I mean, okay, so shifting, things like that, shifting, evolving, etc., etc. You were a founder. Now you've evolved into a founder slash angel investor. And you've invested in how many startups now?
I think 30 now.
30.
Yeah,
Awesome. Oh my
yeah.
God. Okay, okay. So, in your opinion, one, this is a twofold question.
Okay.
One, why aren't women getting more capital?
Women aren't getting more capital, and I don't think it's because of angel investors. I actually think angel investors really do invest in a lot of women. It's venture. Venture is the problem. And the problem is because of a few different things. One, there aren't enough female GPs in venture funds. So within venture funds, there's GPs, typically the people who are deploying the capital. Like there's always a decision maker at a venture firm. And it might be a couple people, it might be one person. And typically and overarchingly, I think it's 5% are women.
Okay.
So the people making those decisions are men. Now, not to say that men don't want to invest in women, but VCs pattern match. VCs tend to invest in things that have made them money previously. So they look at a company and say, WeWork, Adam Newman.
Oh God.
I know, crazy, but this is important. Raised a shit ton of money and basically was able to pay back his VCs a lot of money because they took secondaries out as the company grew and did that. So they were paying back their fund. He made all those venture capitalists happy. They were like, okay, great. Like, this super egomaniac, passionate dude who has insanely wild ideas, who got me my money back. Now, when they're meeting with founders, that's what they're looking for because they're like, that guy made me my money back. And so, and that's why Adam Newman was able to raise for his new company. They're pattern matching. So when a woman comes in, they're like, never had an exit from that before because you've never invested. To like, I've never heard of this idea before because it doesn't really fit what I think of in my viewpoint of the world. And I think a lot about like Rent the Runway. When she went into pitch, she said several times that all the VCs were like, well, let me ask my wife, let me ask my assistant. And like, because they can't understand the problem. So we're in this vicious cycle we can't get out of where the people at the top making the decision are the men. The men are pattern matching against previous founders. The previous amount of founders are 97% men. And it's like,
it's a cycle.
The cycle continues.
So what would it take actually for a woman to walk in, ask for the money and get it?
I think a few different things. I think one is, and I think women do this, and I've done this even myself, we tend to pitch the business we currently have instead of pitching the billion-dollar business that they're going to invest in. And so when you're pitching, I think women are very realistic. We're very conservative usually when it comes to money. We want to be able to deliver on what we're selling. Men are unrealistic. They want to shoot for the moon. They want to talk about the biggest idea in the room. Like, this is going to change it. And we have to learn to do that. We have to learn to sell the dream and the team and not just the vision as it is today.
Yep. Okay. So, given that you're on both sides now, what would you say? What do you wish you had known when you started pitching?
Okay. So what I wish I would have known, that piece of advice I just gave, I think that's really important because I tend to be like, here's where we are, and like really focus on the results I've already gotten. No one cares. Like they're like, tell me about how this is going to make me all this money. So really pitching for their ego is part of it. And I think I wish I would have known that. I think also I wish I would have held back. Like I think what happened to, at least with Cherub, was we got a lot of venture interest early, like month 5 of the business where we were just starting out. And we took a lot of those meetings and we're pitching. And I think it was like too early for us. And like with a lot of these VCs, you get one shot to introduce the business. And the reality of the situation is your business grows and evolves over time. And so you really want to be precious about that time. And I will also say, have those meetings when you don't need the money. Take your VC money, take as many VC meetings. We're not raising right now, but I just want to introduce you to the company. That actually switches the power dynamic. And I think it's like the best way to kind of approach it. When you're pitching when you need the money, it's like the worst place to be in.
You come from a place of desperation.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
And you're also like, I think it creates an immediate, like, again, it's like asking anyone for money. It's like if I just met you and I ask you for money, you're like, but if we've like built a relationship over 6 months and then I ask you for money, maybe you'll give it to me, maybe you won't, but if anything, you're going to give me feedback and introduction or something even more valuable.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. How do you choose your co-founders?
Yeah. Okay. So I chose my co-founders. They're both very different in terms of
are.
like
I know them
the
both.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yes, you know them both. Okay. So I'll start with Cherub. So Angeline and I have known each other for 20 years, like truly almost 20 years. So there's a lot of trust and loyalty there. We've obviously been through personal things together. We worked together. That's how we first like met. And the reason why I knew we would work really well together is because we have such an immense amount of respect for each other. I genuinely think she is one of the most talented
She is.
founders. Like, I mean, talented product managers, talented UX. Like, she's so smart, and I trust her implicitly. Like, we're very good at being like, you do you, I'll do me, because we feel the same way about
Right,
each other.
right.
So I would say that. The other thing is like we're very aligned on what we want. I think that's where most partnerships fall apart. Is like, what do you want to get out of this? What do I want to get out of this? And I think that there's a lot of power in that to be able to have these like raw and honest conversations. And I think her superpowers and strengths are wildly different than my superpower and strengths, which I think works really well. Marina, I feel like it's a completely different story. Like we've only known each other for, well, now, like, I guess like 4 or 5 years, but at the time it was like a newer relationship, but we did work together. I think that's kind of a key too, is like working with someone before you jump into a partnership with them. So I knew how she worked. I knew her work ethic. That was very aligned. Marina and I do have similar skill sets in a lot of different ways, which is why I felt like she was perfect for the role of Create and Cultivate because of a few things. One was, the role she was going to take on was essentially the me role. And I knew we needed someone with those talent and skills to be able to do it. Like, it wasn't a case where I was like, I need someone who's different than me. It was like, I actually need a mini me that's going to be running at 100 miles an hour, and I can support on the things I'm really good at. And so Marina was like perfect for that role. She also was part of the Create and Cultivate community, deeply entrenched in like the women's space. So it was like, it wasn't like an out of body experience for her out of water. Like, she was just like, I know this world, I can do this world. And truly the biggest thing that mattered to me was the work ethic. And she has that. Because if that's unaligned, it's not good either.
Okay. Some rapid fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Build community or build capital? Which comes first for a woman-led startup?
God, I mean, I guess I would say community. That's tough though.
Why though?
Because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in building these businesses that people think of as what am I trying to say? Like impact businesses or like nonprofit, because it's like the community side. But like, I think it's important to also be raising capital and being like, this is a for-profit business. I think like we struggled with that with Create and Cultivate at the beginning, because everyone kept being like, is this a nonprofit? And it's like,
my God,
no. Why does every woman-owned business have to be a nonprofit? I don't know.
What's the biggest lie women tell themselves about starting over?
That it's going to be hard. I think it is hard, but I think or maybe that it's not going to work out. It's like, you don't know if you don't try. It is hard, but the other side is really powerful. I'm going to do a reel about this. I was thinking about it on the way here, where I was like, the good news is a lot can change in a year. The bad news is a lot can change in a year. And whether you're in the bad news piece of it and you're like, this year sucks and I'm in the muck of it and it's not working and everything's falling apart, or you're on the other side of it, you have to get through both of those sides to get to the other place.
No, it's funny that you said that, because it's crazy how much you and I have changed since we first met each other.
Truly, our lives are like completely different.
Totally different. And okay, one green flag that you look for a founder before you back them.
I think grit. I need someone who has a lot of grit, because the reality is you're investing in the founder. The business is the business, great. You are like, are you going to go the whole way? And I think that's the most important quality.
Okay, finish this. The legacy I actually want is blank.
I would want my legacy to be that I helped underrepresented founders get access to the tools, tips, tricks that they needed to build the careers they want.
And what is one thing that not a lot of people know about you, but when they meet you, they're really actually surprised?
I'm really short. I think it's like, everyone's like, I really thought you were going to be like 5'7". I'm like, no, I'm 5'2". Yeah. So it's like I'm like, I get that a lot. But I would also say like that I'm pretty like, it's funny because like Marina felt this way too. She's like, I just thought you were going to be like way different and like a little bit more guarded. And I'm very much an open book. Like, I think
you are.
I love meeting people and I love like cultivating relationships. I mean, I think our story is so incredible. Like, I tell this a lot, but like intro has given me life-changing relationships.
Absolutely.
I mean, we met on a 15-minute intro call, and now
Exactly.
you're an investor in both my businesses. You're a good friend.
Yep.
I've connected you to people that have probably changed your life in some way. Like,
Absolutely.
that's the way it works.
Yes.
And like, I genuinely believe in that.
Yeah, you are super connected, Jaclyn, and an awesome founder and entrepreneur and angel investor. So thank you for coming on the Maude Debrief.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yay.
Okay. And where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm a lot of different places, but you can check out investwithcherub.com, createcultivate.com, and follow me on Instagram at Jaclyn R. Johnson.
Yay!
Woo!
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
All right. And if you have any branding needs, contact us at maudelabs.com.